All right, in this video, we are given the domain and range of a function over there, and we are asked to find the domain and range of these transform functions over here. And if you notice these transform functions, we only have a value and a k value in these. There's no c or d values. So these questions are a medium difficulty. They can get even harder if you have C values and D values. But for now, let's worry about this question over here. Now, these questions can be done instantly, but I'm going to explain them in a bit of detail. The first thing you want to do is you want to do your mapping rule. Let's start with the first question right there. My mapping rule for my first question is just x and negative 3, y. I'm not really going to explain the mapping rule in too much detail, but if you want a quick, brief form of the mapping rule, this is the mapping rule. And again, you should learn that from another video if you don't already know it yet. We don't have a D value or a C value. Basically, we're just doing X over K and AY and all of these questions here for the mapping rule. So that's what I did. The X has no K value. The A value is negative 3. I'm just multiplying that with my Y. So that's my mapping rule there. So X affects the domain, which means that my X is unchanged, which means my domain in this question is going to remain unchanged. I'm going to write the exact same thing for my domain, but my range is now going to be multiplied by negative 3. So I'm going to multiply my range by negative 3. Remember your rules of inequalities. When you multiply by a negative number, your sign changes direction. So negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. The sign changes from less than to greater than. This sign changes to greater than equals. And then 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. You could leave this as a final answer for your range, but some teachers prefer if you write it with the lower number in the front. So I'm just going to write this all backwards now, negative 12. This is going to be less than equal to y and less than 3. These two things mean the exact same thing. I've just written it from smaller to bigger number here, and over there it's bigger to smaller number. These two are exactly the same. So my final domain is that, and my final range is this. Let's try it for the second question over there. So my mapping rule for that second question, the k value is negative 1, so this becomes negative x, and then that's just 1 over 2 y. So my domain is now being multiplied by negative 1, so negative 6 turns into positive 6. Because I'm multiplying by a negative number over here, this is going to switch to greater than equals. This will switch to a greater than sign. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. And then if I want to write it in proper order from smallest to biggest number, I can just rearrange this to negative 4 is less than x, which is less than equal to 6. Let's do the range next. For the range, I'm just multiplying by 1 over 2. That's going to become negative 0.5 less than y less than equal to 2. I just multiplied that original equation there by 1 over 2. No change in any of the signs because we're multiplying by a positive number for this one, positive a value. Let's try the third example over here. My mapping rule is x over 2 or 1 over 2x, whichever way you prefer to write it. And for y, it's negative 5y. So my domain is being divided by positive 2. So I'm just writing the exact same equation, dividing by positive 2. Signs are going to stay the same because I'm dividing by a positive number. So it's just XER, and then that's going to turn to -3, and that's going to turn to positive 2. So -3 less than equal to X less than 2. And for the range, I'm multiplying the range by -5. So if I multiply this whole equation by -5, the numbers will change and the signs will also flip because I'm multiplying by a negative number. YER, -1 times -5 is +5. Sign will flip to greater than. Sign will flip to greater than equal to, and 4 times -5 is just -20. And then if we want, we can write this in the proper order. So YER -20 less than equal to Y less than 5. So that's my domain, and that is my range for this third one. And let's go to the fourth and final one. My mapping rule for this one here is, so X, I have to flip that. So it's -3 over 2X. And then the Y just stays the same. So 3 over 4Y, that's your mapping rule for this one. If you don't know your mapping rule, go and look up a video of how to do the mapping rule itself. For the transformations now, the X is being multiplied by -3 over 2. So I'm multiplying the entire domain by a -3 over 2. So the signs will flip and the numbers will change. -6 times -3 over 2. So that's going to be +9. The sign will flip to greater than equals. This sign will flip to greater than. And then 4 times -3 over 2 is -6. You can rewrite this in proper order. So -6 less than X less than equal to 9. For the range, I'm multiplying the range by +3 over 4, so no signs will flip. So it's just YER. -1 times 3 over 4 is just -0.75, or -3 over 4. Signs will stay the same because we're multiplying by a positive number. And 4 times 3 over 4 is just +3. So this is my domain and range for this final question over here. If you made it to the end of this video and you found this content helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.